Conformity is a deformity of human evolution, a pollution of progress, an invisible few putting pressure on you to live your life as they see fit. Forget about IT, you want to be an it girl. And boys, you play with those toys which reaffirm your masculinity. Put down the pots and pans from your sister's kitchenette. Throw a grenade in the oven. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's the real men who get the lovin' of the trophy princess, who's in a constant state of distress, for not only is she unable to find her way home, she cannot find herself. Yet she defines herself through labels and brands, obsessively self-tans, showing Bobby Sands' hands. And it's no wonder this damsel is in distress, for each time she undresses, a whispering chorus of magazine quotes swarms her aura. Zombie gaze, aurora borealis green can be seen, as her fingers play the scales on her ribcage. Her young daughter watches from the bedroom door, mimicking the woman she adores. Intergenerational insecurities pass through bloodlines, but there is always a black sheep. The one who questions boundaries, who challenges cosmologies, who refuses to bow to conformity. And I say we need these odd ones out, 'cause without them we are carbon copies, stereotyped in docile black and white, packed neatly into boxes. I want to see a transgender Rose of Tralee, a hairy biker Montessori teacher, a friendly bouncer, a bouncy castle bouncing gay couple celebrating their child's birthday, a breastfeeding, comic-reading mother sitting alongside her sister whose decision not to procreate or settle down does not leave her gathered around drunken relatives at weddings, asking awkward questions, suggesting Johnny at the bar has a fancy car, an ex-wife, an outdoor jacuzzi. I mean, has anyone even asked Johnny if he wants to remarry? No, you're just assuming. I want to meet a bird-watching, hopscotching tattooist without any tattoos. See a pincushion face Nemo reading the news. A model in a wheelchair, imperfection being the new black. But along comes the DSM and attacks our identities, labelling non-conformists mentally ill, proposing to cure us with a pill, or at least airbrush away our ideas, then patent them as their own. But I live in hope. My non-conformist seed has been sown. Gurmagov. So at the age of 10, if someone had told me when I'd grow up I'd be a single parent, Buddhist, lesbian, I'm not quite sure how I would have taken it. Growing up in a traditional Irish family and getting your traditional Catholic education in Ireland, I don't think I was even familiar with any of those words. But here I am, and I'm here tonight as a performance or spoken word poet. So inevitably a lot of my work does encompass my own struggles with the pressures of conformity. And just there you might have noticed, if you were listening properly, I mentioned the DSM. And these people, they're the people who diagnose and write the manual of mental illnesses. And just recently, non-conformity has been named and put in the manual as a mental illness, which can be medicated. I won't even talk anymore about that. So keeping that in mind, my next piece is called Note to Self. And in this, I'm speaking to my younger self. Note to self. Commit random acts of kindness. Surrender to the silences born out of shyness. Stop worrying about what you imagine others think of you. Use your imagination for more powerful creations. And would you stop deriving mathematical equations when looking in the mirror? If I count the wrinkles on my face, divide this by my double chin, somehow calculate the speed at which my boobs are sagging, and multiply this by the obtuse angle of my arse, the result will be negative. Stop beating yourself up so much. Stop calling yourself a stupid bitch, a stupid bitch. Stop being so hard on yourself. Breathe. Breathe. Clear your mind of self-harming sentences. Embrace your achievements. Pat yourself on the back. Run yourself a bath. Make oils of lavender and rose essential. It's only through loving yourself you will discover your potential. Yes, love yourself. Love yourself. You cannot escape the essence of who you are. And when you come across others who snigger from afar, well, just walk away with your head held high. Tap into healing energies of earth and sky, you big hippie. Margaret. Thank you. So, because I believe in gender equality, that makes me a feminist. And I find it quite shocking how women's voices, women's stories have essentially been omitted in the history books. And I guess that's one of the reasons, one of the frustrations that fueled my next piece, which is called Feminism. There's one woman who I'd like to mention, Charlotte Keppel. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that name. Just as an example of an incredible woman written out of Irish history. Her story and her scientific invention, the chronoscope, have essentially been written out of history. Only for a documentary I saw, I wouldn't have known of her. So I think it's important for young girls to grow up, if we want them to get into business and science and everything, you know, to have role models. And omitting these women from history books certainly isn't going to help. So Charlotte Keppel, there's a name to check out if you want to. So feminism. If I were a man, I'd spend time with my mother. Encourage her story to unfurl out of soft silence. If her words were buried too deep, I'd read the lines on her hands. If I were a man, I'd ask my mother to recite recipes, so my hands may honour my palate long after her bones go to sleep. My children's lives would be enriched by this, each meal evoking an earthly kiss. If I were a man and I had a sister, I'd cherish her. By embracing her giddy ways and respecting her need for solitude, I'd curse those boys who grapple and tease, commanding my sister on her knees. If I were a man and I had a daughter, I'd thank the heavens, then carefully nurture her feminine truth and play football with her. If I were a man and I had a female lover, I'd study her body with precision and grace. I'd know whether she wanted a fast, frisky frolic or slow motion in the ocean by the shape of the moon. I'd taste her neck when she least expects. But what would I know? I'm just a blonde with big boobs in a man's world. Thank you. Thank you. So as a mother, I have felt pressures on me to conform to modern eating habits, meaning bringing your child to a fast food restaurant and shoving their faces with chicken nuggets and getting a little toy along the way. And I remember speaking to a guy when my daughter was 4, and just came up in conversation. I said, I've never brought her to McDonald's or any of those places. And I'll never forget the look on his face. He was genuinely disgusted with me. You know, how could I be denying my child the dining experience in such places? So it was an interesting conversation. We were both pretty shocked with each other. And that's part of what fueled my next piece, which is called Eating Disorder. 'Tis the age of anxiety, according to some. People are attacked by panic or comfortably numb as prescribed pills rattle in handbags and pockets. The sales of bath salts in head shops rocket. This modern percussion of self-loathing pills has pharmacists dancing from altars of tills. I thought medicine was supposed to be about healing, the science of feeling, holistic care, becoming aware of how to nourish body, mind and soul, how healthy living starts at home. By growing, picking, peeling, chopping, all this can be done whilst body popping to your favourite tune. You're a chef, DJ, private dancer, whilst lowering your chances of getting cancer. But sure, I work all hours, and I've 40 kids. I hardly have time to take off the lids off the powdered soups I do be cooking. At the list of ingredients, I don't be looking. I just don't have the time, and sure, microwave dinners never did me any harm. It's very handy to have a third arm. We are witnessing a supersize epidemic. It's no surprise since the service is systemic, where the waiter wants to know, would your child like nuggets, burger, sausage with their chips? 7-Up Coke, perhaps the healthy option, fruit juice. Have you tasted that shit? There's more fruit and fish. A result of today's genetically modified ways. Ronald McDonald makes me want a projectile vomit. Have I gone too far? Hell no, mother. I'm a mother, not a sucker, and my child likes broccoli. Why? 'Cause I put it on her plate from an early age. I want to dispel the myth that has been cast. In order to eat healthy, you need lots of cash. What you need is cop on and knowledge, so when your kids go to college, they know how to cook. Books tell us we are what we eat. I see a lot of processed people walking down the street who don't like to hear Black Beauty is in frozen dinners. Beef or salmon has proved to be a winner. So let's bring it back to this age of panic. The future is in her hands. These hands hold intelligence of generations gone by on how to knead dough, not need dough to buy ready-made shite. So last but not least, this one's called Dear Society, and it involves a posh English accent, so I apologise for that. I just want to dedicate it to people for whom the pressures of conformity were too much, maybe took their own lives, and also dedicate it to those who are struggling with the pressures of conformity and essentially living a lie. Dear Society, I am a Homo sapien. I am attracted to other homos, Homo sapiens. I am a member of the LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ community, a group of people in society segregated by our sexuality. I am not queer, I am here, and I am me. And if my honesty offends your inability to accept that I am free to love the essence of femininity, well, I do not apologize, for beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, and I will hold her. Her curves have been molded to fit the pieces of my life, Society, which you have jigsawed apart. We fit together like art, but our love is no exhibition to be stared at. And if you are to say to me that God made man and woman to make child, well, I respect your right to be so black and white, but I am grey. I also pray that one day you may awake to see black and white blends to make me. I'm exhausted, Society, from trying to suit you. My spine aches contortionist pains from trying to fit into this closet, from which I emerged terrified and alone, back into my family home to sit my elders down and reveal to them what felt like bad news. And why should I, Society, come crawling to you to accept me when it is you who should come crawling in apology for building that closet and forcing me in it? In it? Why is it you accept men to hold guns but not hands? Gur míle maith agaibh.